And we are live. What's up? Okay, y'all, I have not gone live on YouTube in 300 years, and I do feel like every time I go live, I say something lame like that, but it's true. I have big gaps. I don't know what you want me to say. Okay, so I'm really excited for this conversation. My friend Nina is backstage. Nina Clapperton from She Knows SEO. I am not going to give you her spiel. She is going to give you her spiel. But basically, we're going to be diving into SEO in the age of AI. What is actually important in 2025? This is coming up all of the time with my clients, with my students, with people on my email list, all of that stuff. So I'm excited to dive into this. Nina comes at it from more of like the blogging perspective. She's a beast in the blogging world. I come at it from more of like the business perspective. And so we kind of want to weave things together for everybody because that's just like the way of the internet. So I do want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this live stream, which is Right Blogger. It's the AI tool created for bloggers by bloggers. Learn more at rightblogger.com/Mariah. So this is an incredible AI tool, especially if you don't want to dick around with like the prompting in Gemini or in ChatGPT or things like that. You can test out a bunch of Right Blogger's tools for free right on their website. Just make sure that you go to rightblogger.com/Mariah so that I get affiliate credit if you decide to do anything. Okay. Thanks so much. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Ryan, Andy. Love you guys. You're the best. Okay. So we're going to hide that. We're going to bring Nina. We're going to bring Nina to the stage, y'all. We're going to bring her to the stage.
Hey.
What's up? Doesn't that sound so official? I'm like bringing her to the stage and I just click a button and you've been sitting there staring at me and give my spiel.
There's like a podcast I listened to where he pretends he's a genie. And so like when they did like their live streams during COVID, he would actually like pretend to come out of a lamp. But I feel like I should have done that now.
I kind of want you to. Okay, we're going to do another live and Nina's going to be the genie. Okay, before we get too deep into things, can you give my audience just like some overview? Who are you? How did you get into this space? Why do you give a shit about SEO?
For sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Nina Clapperton. I'm the founder of She Knows SEO. Usually I sound a little bit more alive than I do right now, but I've been sick with the plague for 2 weeks. So here, living it, tried it. I got into SEO because I was starting with travel blogging and I was trying to be a travel blogger on Instagram and I didn't even own a camera, so that didn't really work. So then I figured out SEO and within 6 months, I was able to grow my website from 0 to 65,000 page views a month. And then within another, I think it was 6 weeks, turned it into $10,000 a month. Within another, I think it was 8 months from there, so it was like 13 months total. Basically, I turned it into a $30,000 a month business. Got a lot of questions about it and started helping other business owners and bloggers do the same for themselves. So for me, SEO is someone who's introverted, who has chronic illness, who doesn't, now I own a camera, but didn't own a camera for a long time. It was a great way to connect with my audience somewhere that they already were. And for monetization, it has by far been the like strongest source for me. So I got into it from that, got really obsessive with it. I have chronic ADHD, so I hyperfixate. And SEO has been a hyperfixation of mine for a while. And then I started using AI in October of 2021 when everyone else was still like, apparently, because I got yelled at a lot for it on Twitter. And so then like the two kind of merged together. And now it's really exciting that they're actually merging. So I get to talk about both in the same sentence now.
Yeah, it's cool. And so guys, if you are unfamiliar with Nina, I know that like a lot of people throw out money claims all of the time. How much you make with this, how much you make with that. Just know that like I've seen the receipts. I've seen the back end of things. Like Nina is the real deal. She's not just throwing out money just to make herself sound impressive. You can even like, if you take a look at her website, She Knows SEO, it like there's so much content and the way that you set it up is so smart. And then you can even take a look like using SEMrush and take a look at her traffic and all of that. So just wanted to kind of back up what you were saying there. And I'm excited that you're focused on AI and SEO because that's not how a lot of people feel. Like as an SEO professional, apparently like we should be freaking out about it. Like we should not be happy about AI. Like obviously your perspective, you're coming at it from like an SEO perspective and like an AI user, but like how do you feel about AI in terms of like your blog content?
So I've long been a proponent of using AI as a co-writer for your content. So like back when I grew my first business from like 0 to 65,000 page views, I was working 4 jobs. Like one of them was full-time at a law firm, which was the worst job of my entire freaking life. But it's also like a lot of hours you have to work. And I wanted to be creative, but I had no time or energy to do it. And I hate when people say that like accessibility, like AI is an accessibility tool. It is to some degree, but I think it needs to still work with you and support you. So I've always been like a big fan of AI where you give it the information and it's just the same as like hiring a writer. I once hired 40 writers in 1 month as an experiment. I make a lot of big business mistakes and like weird swings. That was one of them. And I can tell you that like the same thing I provided those beginner writers that I provided ChatGPT at the time, Jasper AI, now Write Blogger. I use basically any tool that comes out. I've tested over 178 tools for over 3 months. My accountant hates me, but I can tell you like the content's really good. And so it's really based on what you put into it. And for me, like I don't really care how you created the content. Like it's like, okay, did you make this in Photoshop or did you somehow painstakingly do it where you like put films in front of the camera? Like, does it matter to me? No. But I do think that that element of effort has to be there. Like you have to have something unique you're saying. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's when you just do like a one click that I'm like, no, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's where the misconception comes when it comes from using AI for content generation is like so many people are against it. And like, I'm against the regurgitation bullshit that comes out. Like,
Yeah.
it's not helpful for readers, for users, for anybody. And like, I was saying this even before AI, when clients would be like, don't I have to create a new blog post every week? And I'm like, I don't care about the quantity. Google, search engines, AI does not care about the quantity. It cares about the quality. So, like in the SEO world, there was Brian Dean that was like huge for a while, and he's still in the space for a long, like he's still in the space. And he did an experiment where he had so much traffic, it would like make you vomit, like so much traffic, and only had like 15 blog posts.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's just like a really good example of like he knew why he knew what they were searching for, why they were searching for it, and wanted to become the perfect solution to the problem. And then through his content, he would weave in different perspectives and studies and like his personality, and then built a personal brand off of that. And that's the juice. Like that's what people care about. It's less about the quantity or anything like that. It's more about the end goal of SEO, which is to like get people to do something.
I think that's so important because I think like getting people to do something at the end of it is what gets forgotten so often. Like I hate that this is live and I can't like cut that back. Um, but like, you know, like with Instagram, everyone's always like, oh, it's the follower count, it's this, it's that. And I'm like, it's not about vanity metrics. And I do honestly believe that page views are a vanity metric because I don't think it's about page views for page views sake. It's page views for conversion's sake. And so that's where like you want to have, okay, sure. Like I used to have a post that I ranked for that I got like over 12,000 page views per month from, and you could do nothing with it. Like it was one of those like yes or no questions that like, glad I got the traffic because I was monetized with ads on that site. If I actually was using it for a business, like just to like get people for clients, and also who wants 12,000 clients? Let's be real. That's too many people. You need to have something where you are converting them to take an action, and that action needs to be the right thing for them. And you don't want non-ideal clients. So I think that that's something that a lot of people don't think about. Like they get so stressed about those metrics in SEMrush and key search and whatever, looking for like, oh, here's like a 20,000 volume keyword. And I'm like, cool. Does it matter to your people? Like, and so it's that, again, that like quality over quantity.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I agree with that because at the end of the day, it's like, you want customers, you want clients. That's why you're putting all of this effort in. And so if you're just creating AI generated content and it falls flat and it sounds like everybody else, because that's what AI is trained on, everybody else. And like, how are people going to be able to make a purchasing decision on you? I want to work with you, or I want to buy from you if you're an e-commerce shop, but you're not letting your personality in at all. Now you sound like everybody else. And so now you're just going to get the average results because there's no reason why people should choose you. So it's like choosing the right keyword and driving traffic is really just like phase one of this stuff.
I so agree. And I think that that's kind of the interesting part where like AI search is coming in as well, is that it's often like doing an extra filtering step for you right now with like the way people ask questions, because it learns them, right? So it knows what they want. Like if someone's coming in and searching for like a web designer, if they've already been talking about WordPress or Squarespace, like it already knows what specifically they're looking for. So every keyword now needs to be a long tail keyword to some degree for your content, even if the user's searching something that is like base, like, okay, Italy tips. But ChatGPT already knows that they have like a family of 4, and it knows that like the daughter's celiac, and it knows that like the son, like, I don't know, is weirdly obsessed with gladiators or whatever. So it's going to like bring those things in a way that really changes the search results, I think. And it kind of does that extra filtering step for us. It's almost like step 1.5, where we don't have to do anything, but we connect even better with our ideal audience because of that when we get them.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up the AI overviews. I've heard a lot of people freaking out, hey, I don't want to target keywords that like are bringing up AI overviews because they're 0-click. So it's like you might get recommended in the AI overview, but you're not actually getting clicks from them. So they're not going over to your website. So like, what's the point?
So see, I disagree with that. So first of all, I was referring more to ChatGPT search in that section, but I agree with AI overviews. I ran tests on, when I was sick, over 100 websites, because when I'm sick, what else do I do? So I went through all of my websites, my client websites, other websites I know, that basically like I went through SEMrush to figure out where are AI overviews showing up for their terms, and then seeing how the click-through rate and the traffic had changed for them over time since AI overviews came in. And I found that yes, certain keywords, like if it's a yes or no keyword, people don't need you for that. But again, were you actually converting off of that keyword? Probably not. So I find the ones that are still doing really well are tutorials, step-by-step things, case studies, those in-depth reviews. And those can be part of another piece of content, like you're talking about with Brian Dean. Like, build that in to a piece of content you're already working on. You know what I mean? And it can be a part of like is Journey a good ad network, whatever, do a case study, add that in. And even if it's an AI overviews, then like they need to click through to read more, because that's not enough for them. It's the same as like when featured snippets first came out and everyone was like, oh my God, featured snippets are the worst thing in the world. And it was like, then all of a sudden everyone wanted a featured snippet. And I was like, okay. So I like sent an email recently where I basically said like AI overviews right now, they can be really good. They could be something like featured snippets were in the end. I think right now they're in that like kid playing in their mom's makeup bag version of like their makeup transition or like life experience, and they'll get there hopefully. But right now it's like bright blue eyeshadow and like blush up to their ears and like, I don't know, 1,000 pounds of lipstick, but they've drawn it across their face or something. Like that's kind of what it feels like right now. So I do think we have potential. And I don't know if you agree with that, Mariah, but like I have found that for search terms, for me at least, when I've searched for things as a user, 50% of the time I like them. 50% they are just in the way, I would say right now.
Yeah. Okay. I have a lot to say about this. If you want to be able to see which SEO keywords are having AI overview show up, I, of course, have a YouTube video on my channel. Check it out over there. But essentially, as a user and even as an SEO person, I don't hate the AI overviews, but I take note of like how I react from them. So I give this example when I'm teaching all of the time, and it's so embarrassing because I'm not lying. Okay, so I never remember how long it takes to boil an egg. Literally, I just boiled eggs and ruined an entire dozen. Andrew was making fun of me like 3 days ago because I never remember how long to boil. And so I Google all of the time, how long to boil an egg. Okay, so before AI overviews, I would have to scan page 1, click on a bunch of like recipe bloggers things, and I'm literally just looking for the answer. How long do I boil an egg? And then they would have pop-ups, download my free recipe ebook. Respectfully, girl, I'm sure that it's great. I don't want your recipe ebook. I'm literally just looking for how long it's going to take to boil an egg. And so I was never going to convert anyways. I was never going to jump into their membership. I was never going to download anything. I wasn't there for that type of solution. But now with the AI overviews, now I can see, oh, most people recommend between, and I don't know the time still, recommend, I think, like 10 to 12 minutes or something like that. Okay, great. That gave me the information right there. But then sometimes, so like I was writing something in terms of like WordPress, or no, in terms of Squarespace for SEO. And so an AI overview popped up and it said, for Squarespace SEO, download the Yoast plugin, is what the AI overview said. And I know that this is like SEO speak, but like Yoast isn't available on Squarespace. And so the AI overview isn't always correct. And as a user, I'm noticing I trust it less and less, but I'm more likely to scroll and and see like who is an authority in this, and then heading over to their website specifically to go into like a rabbit hole about it.
I so agree. And I think like I also don't know how long to boil an egg for. We'll never know. I think it's one of those like generational things where like our generation is not meant to have that knowledge. We got too much other stuff in there. But yeah, I think it is like, it's important to see how you react for sure. And for me, it's the same as like when I search on ChatGPT search, or when I'm trying out like different, like Perplexity was big for a minute. It seems like some people still really love it. Not my thing. I prefer ChatGPT search. Like you start to notice your own behavioral patterns. And I think that that's what you need to look at to see, okay, what are users potentially doing? And is this the end of the world? And I think that a lot of those top of funnel, like what is X, those sorts of questions, a lot of like, if it can be answered in one sentence and if someone's fine with that, those are gone. But the person that needed that one sentence answer, like Mariah said, like, I'm not going to download your ebook if I'm just looking for like, there was a really common one of like, how many eyes does a horse have? And the featured snippet always said like 4 or something like that for a long time. And it's like, cool. But anyone searching that, like, what were they going to do with that? Like, they don't need to purchase something with that information. It was just information. So I also find if it is something business related or something where I need verification, like with the egg thing, I think both of us, we would see it and be like, oh, that sounds familiar. I kind of like remember that. Like if it said 40 minutes, we'd both be like, wait, like, wait a second. And so I think when it's something like with your business or whatever, people are likely to scroll down and click on authorities. They're likely to also like see who's being cited. That's the biggest issue right now that I have with it, is that half the citations are fake. Half the citations are sites that they kicked out from the helpful content update, but they're now indexing for this, which is very weird, because it is like a completely separate algorithm that I think still needs a lot of work for, like, that's why to me, I'm like, it's still beginner for some of these things. And I do hope that they fix that longer.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? All of these, I think that like, I cut myself off and never finished a sentence. I think that we forget who is shaping. I always end up picking up a pen literally while I'm doing lives. I'm like waving it around like a wand. So I always try to remember that, like, who's shaping these AI tools, or who's shaping how Google search is happening. It takes in our user perspective, how we use it. If we're not using it the way that a big tech company like expected, they will either start doing ads and try to get you to do it, or if we're still not doing it, they're going to completely redo things, not throw it out completely, but they're going to redo things to better match how we're going to use it. So as a user, remember that we are shaping AI. This is new for consumers. It's not new for like a whole lot of things. Google, like, algorithms have been using AI for a really long time, businesses, the government, all of that. But it's like, we forget how much as a consumer, like how much play we kind of have here. We get to tell and show how we're going to use it, how we're not going to use it, and feedback based on our experience, which is pretty cool. And the other example that I want to give, because we've given like some blog examples, but if you're a business owner and you're selling services, or if you're selling e-commerce products, users, when they're looking to make a purchase, we buy from people. We don't buy from AI bots. I don't really give a shit what the AI overview says. I have done some searching through AI before, and like the suggestions that it gave me, people were out of business, people's websites were down, like it's not updated as much. And so just remember that, like, if you're trying to show up for a keyword in which somebody is going to hand you money to do it, they're going to need to trust you. So, like, if I wanted to hire a public speaking coach, for example, I'm not taking what the AI overview said. I'm going to scroll down, take a look at like 7, because I'm a researcher, 7 different public speaking coaches' website, look at their about page, their services, read everything, and then reach out to somebody. It's the same thing if I'm looking to hire like a local electrician. I don't care what AI says. I want to be able to figure out who I want to trust. And then even with educational content, the other example that I like to give is like, let's say that you're a mom and you have 4 kids and you're trying to plan a trip to Disney World, and you type in how to plan a trip to Disney World. Are you going to care what AI says? No. AI has never gone to Magic Kingdom with 4 little ones. You are instead going to try to find a mommy blogger who has experience doing this. So, like, I think that if we're stressing out too much about AI with SEO, I think that we're not thinking deep enough.
No, I agree. And I think that, I don't know, I think that we're actually like moving back to a form of SEO that I love way more, which is like kind of some more of the original, where it was like audience first. Because I think that they tried to make the algorithm like so simplistic, and then everyone hacked it, and then it got kind of easy and boring, to be honest. But it's why like you started seeing people complaining about the search results that like, okay, to read a recipe, I have to go through like 8,000 words of someone's like life story just to find out the time to boil an egg. And I think we're getting through that to some extent, and we're getting more to human connection. I think we're also moving away from like one-click SEO strategies, which I think was like a lot of what was kind of priority for a while there, where it wasn't about building that consumer trust, building that relationship and community with your audience. It was like, okay, I want to rank, someone will show up. I hope that they do something. And if they don't, go away, I'll never see you again. And that's not great. I mean, whether you're a blogger or a business owner, I know for like She Knows SEO, like it takes people a minute to figure out if I'm going to be the right person to work with them. So I'm like, here are blog posts with my expertise. Here's my about page. Here's all this content that I think adds to topical authority in a way that people often assume is only for readers. But I'm like, no, the whole algorithm is reading all of that. And like you need that topical authority to prove yourself to someone navigating your site, but also to these bots that are trying to understand like who you are, if you're someone to trust, which is like really interesting to see as well. It's also really cool because DA doesn't matter as much anymore. And I think DA is one of the stupidest metrics. So I'm quite glad to see it getting shifted.
Okay, so for all of us, if we have any new beginner SEO people, DA is domain authority. So it's essentially like how authoritative Google or search engines see your website. Everybody has a score out of 100. The lower the score, the less authoritative you are. So that used to be a very large ranking factor. That's why you could literally type in like, help me improve my SEO. And it's like backlinking SEO agencies showing up on page 1 because that's what everybody cared about. But I agree with you. I think that these algorithms, and because of users, care so much more about the context of things. It's not about just getting these numbers like for the hell of it. We have to prove that we're the perfect solution to the problem and then build authority through our content. And when I say content, I'm not just talking about blog posts. People like only think that you can optimize a blog post for keywords. And no, your homepage should be optimized. If you have product pages, those should be optimized. Collection or category pages should be optimized for e-commerce, not so much for like your blog categories. Your services pages should be optimized, all of this stuff. Like it's giving more context to the search bots, and it's allowing your website to multiply the doors in which people find you through.
It's so true. And like, it's a really interesting thing that so many people focus on authority as though it's one thing. And I'm like, authority is the combination of proving your authoritativeness. And so that does come from like your entire site. Like Google grades your whole site as a whole. No blog post exists in a vacuum. No page on your website exists in a vacuum. Like, it has to be considered together. But I also found it really interesting. I've been doing a lot of research with ChatGPT search, and branded mentions are a big thing now, whereas backlinks matter like less because they're not following the link. So it used to be like, oh, if you like were in a newspaper, if you were on a podcast, whatever, it mattered only if you got that link back to your business. Now it's like actually looking for the name of your business for you, for things like that. So like, I'm cited in a SEMrush article and they didn't give me a link, but they like mentioned like Nina if she knows SEO, blah, blah, blah. And like, that used to, if you had like old DA mindset link building, it was like, no, like, it means nothing. Give me a link. Now it's like, no, that's equally, like, it's looking at it the same way a user would look at it and say, hey, Nina was mentioned on this website. That's great. So I think it is like oddly a very human way of building authority from bots, which I think is so funny. I would like to ask, because I don't know anything about e-commerce SEO. It's very new to me. What's a category page for an e-commerce site? Like, what is that?
Yeah. So a category, it's essentially a collection page. It just depends on the website platform that you're using. Collection, category, same thing. But so for example, if I'm selling gold jewelry, okay, I might have like a specific product page that's like a gold daisy necklace because it's a gold necklace with a little flower daisy on it. Okay, so that might be a keyword that I target like for the product page, but the collection page might be gold necklaces. And that collection page will just have a list of like all of your gold necklaces with all of the different types of flowers.
Okay, cool. So it is like a category, but like of products.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so those can show up really, really well in searches because think about it. If I'm looking for, like the other day, I literally was looking for dainty silver necklace because I got my color analyzed and apparently gold is not my color and all I have is gold. So now I'm like on the hunt to buy silver things. And I was looking for dainty silver necklace and it was like collection pages showing up. Or Google, the search bot basically scanned all of these websites and would recommend brands, kind of backing up what you're saying, recommend 3 brands because they picked up that they had a collection talking about like silver dainty necklaces and then just listed the brand as a really good solution to the problem. So like, I'm really liking the updates that Google is making to the interface. I feel like the old way of just links and scrolling is really archaic. I think that the search results should change depending on the keyword because each keyword has a different intent. Each keyword requires a different solution. So the more that you understand the keyword, the more that you can understand the intent, the more that you can be the best solution to the problem. So like, it's similar to AI, essentially. They have more context.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to educational content because I have clients and students that, you know, we all know one of the best ways to improve your SEO, if you've already done your homepage, your services, like all of your main pages, is blogging. Okay. But educational content is the content that's kind of taking a hit when it comes to AI. So like, what's your perspective around that? I know that we dove into it a little bit, but.
Yeah, I think that it's 50-50. So half of it is write some of that content regardless. Because if someone came to like Mariah's site or my site, and we have nothing that's like an entry-level SEO blog where you could like learn about SEO and make sure we actually know what SEO is, because like there's a lot of abbreviations out there. We could mean something entirely different. So I think you need some of those pages for people to go and find. I also think some of those pages, or pardon me, blog posts, let's keep using the right terms for you guys, blog posts, it's almost like when you're getting hired for a job or something, it's like they don't need to know that you passed math in grade 3, but like, should you be an engineer if you didn't? Probably not. So it's like they expect it somewhere in your history. I think the topical authority is looking at that. So I would write those anyway. Then I think for like targeting things that are still getting traffic is, again, look at those posts that need the human element. And there is informational and educational content that needs the human element. So deep dives explaining things like, okay, what actually works for SEO in 2025 for very specific types of businesses and blogs, having case studies. Like at one point, I spent $6,000 on backlinks to test if buying backlinks was a good idea or not. It's not. Don't do it. Unless you're like buying PR, don't just buy backlinks is my answer. But like doing those in-depth reviews and doing analysis is still education. Like it's still showing that you know your stuff. So for most business owners, a case study is a really good option, a tutorial on how to do something that's like a beginner level version of what you offer or an entry point. I really recommend looking at the questions that your clients ask you a lot for that, because even if it is on Google already, if they're asking you, that means they trust you with it. And it probably means that they don't really like the answers or trust the answers that are already out there, which might mean that you're going to be able to outrank those things because you've already proven that you have trust. So in my opinion, my entire approach to SEO is always audience first, algorithm like fourth, kind of, because I'm like audience, algorithm. Because I think it's so important to remember that everything we're doing is for humans, that humans power like what these algorithms end up focusing on. And humans spend the money in your business. So like that's where we really want to focus it. But yeah, I think educational content, you still should make it. I think that the total number of page views is likely to go down for some of the posts. I don't think that changes conversions. And I think that's the important thing to remember, is it's about the real people. And then pro tip, internal link things. That way people can easily find the other articles, because sometimes, so I treat my sites like an SEO sales funnel. So everyone's like doing email funnels where it's like, welcome, and then you warm them up for the sale. You can do that with your educational content too, by connecting it with internal linking. But we can also build authority that way and like share our knowledge and show that like, hey, we know all of these steps from our content.
Yeah, I think that all of that is really, really great. I completely agree. I think that people like, we also, it's old school, in my opinion, to think about blog posts as like this very siloed thing, when like blog posts are long form content that you can use in your sales funnel. You can send them after a follow-up if you have a sales call. You can send them if somebody has a question, they're emailing you, send them to a blog post. You don't have to regurgitate stuff all the time. Like you can use these along your buyer's journey. And then people are going to be like, oh my God, you were so great. You answered my question really, really well. This is how they really get to know that, like you said, that you know what you're talking about. Essentially is like you're sharing your expertise and you're being helpful. And like half of the time online, it's just a lot of clickbaity bullshit. And so like if you can find somebody that like you're picking up what they're putting down, you're like, this is the exact answer that I was looking for. Like that is what's going to build trust. And like I was telling my email subscribers about this, but I have been having like shoulder and neck and hip problems. And so my psoas muscle is tight from me literally being a potato sitting in this chair for too long. And so I was Googling like, why the hell is my psoas muscle so tight? I ended up finding this blog post and it did not regurgitate what everybody else said. Everybody else said was like, your psoas muscle is tight because blah, 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 blah. Like the same thing over and over and over. I'm like, I've heard that. I've seen that. It's old news. This other girl was basically bringing in like nervous system regulation and like how the muscles tense up because of this and that. I ended up literally reading that blog post and then purchasing her course. I was like, take my money, girl. Your perspective is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a regurgitation that I could find on Wikipedia.
Oh, I so agree. And I think like that, again, like this is why I love like the phase of SEO that we're in to some degree, because like originality is so key. And like, I don't know, Mariah teaches this really well as well. Like we were at a conference last year and people were talking about like, oh, SEO, like it's not going to sound like me then. It's like kind of boring. And she's like, no, it should be you. Like that's the point. I mean, like in most of my articles, I joke about my dog. I mean, my dog is literally, he has a bio on my website because I'm an adult and I get to do that if I want to now with this business. But I think it's like important that they get the tone of working with you from your website. And that's where I have chronic illnesses, so I can't like write by hand very well. So I voice to text a lot of my blog posts and then clean them up with AI. And I'm like, is remarkable how, like, when I tell people to do that, how different their tone of voice is when they are talking versus writing. And I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, we ramble a bit, we like do whatever when we talk, but your voice should still be there. And you're so right. Like, I convert so much better if I'm like reading something and I'm having fun with it and I feel like I know the person, and their like personal experiences there. I think for a long time we weren't putting humanity into our content, into our
Yep.
sales pages, into our blog posts. I don't know who taught the like sales page strategy that was
It
like,
was corporations
yeah,
being like, "We are stuffy banks. We are financial institutions,
yeah.
and we have to use the words that we use in college or something."
And I think like that's the thing, is it's so freaking boring. And like
It really is.
one of the first things you need to like unlearn is like essay writing if you're going to do SEO. It's like, it's SEO is not essay. There's very different like very different words there. And with like the content is, yeah, having some fun with it. And I've done a lot of tests as well. Like the first 1,000 words are definitely the most important. I actually had a student, it was really funny, this week. Someone asked in my Facebook group, like, oh, I really want to like rank really fast. Should I just publish like 40 articles immediately and then go back and like finish them later? And all of us were like, no, don't do that. Like finish them first. And then it turned out she just meant like putting in like background colors and stuff. And I was like, okay, the content's there, images are there, fine. But someone commented and said like, it's really funny actually, in my niche, I keep finding this one site ranking and it'll be a top 10 post, but they only have 3 and it cuts off mid-sentence. And so I was like looking for them and I found one of them. And the reason it does that is because it's 1,000 words and the AI only analyzes the first 1,000 words in depth. So basically the AI can only see the beginning of your content truly. And then it'll rank you apparently, even if you don't have all 10 things. Like it literally doesn't even finish the list.
I
like,
had no idea.
It's wild. When I was doing the Google algorithm leak and like reading through it all, it was like 4,000 characters, which translated roughly to like 1,000 words, sort of a thing. But it's really interesting because like every post where I bury the lead in like the end of it, or I'm like a big, I don't know, I'm kind of just like a bit of I'm overly stringent. I'm trying to avoid terms that'll get this demonetized. I'm overly stringent with my intros because I think intros are where people are the laziest, but I think they are the most important part of a blog post. And same with the sales page. Like, tell us immediately what the thing is. Tell us why you're the person to listen to for it.
Yeah.
And in posts where I was like burying the lead, or I was just like, oh, in this post, I will prove blah, 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 didn't rank. Made the change, immediate ranking, immediately like, hey, I know this, like we're doing this thing. I always call it like my Costco free sample policy, where I'm like, I'm not going to buy 800 egg rolls if I haven't tried one of the egg rolls. So like, let them try an egg roll. That way they know what they're getting in the rest of the post.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like really interesting to see that like original content early on is so key. And I think a lot of educational content, to go back to that, people like save it till the end. Like instead they put like the base thing everyone's saying up top, and then it's like, oh, at the very end it's like, by the way, here's this like amazing hidden gem. And I'm like, no, like we're not like treasure hunting, put it at the top.
Yeah. Okay. Fascinating. Very fascinating. I learned something there for sure. Okay. So I know that you work with bloggers and some of them have gotten hit in terms of traffic. If some of our viewers, if their traffic has been hit because of AI, what do you suggest that they do besides A, not freak out?
I actually disagree. I say freak out, but controlled freak out. Like give yourself 24 hours, go to a rage room. I do something called rage yoga, which is really fun. You just swear the entire time you do yoga. Instead of like deep breaths, you just like scream swear words. Your neighbors will be concerned. So just like do it maybe when they're not home. But I would say like let it out, because it's a lot. This is your business. It's just like the tariffs and stuff. Like there's a lot, let it out. And then take action. So first things first is actually evaluate if you were hit by an update, or if AI overviews came in and like, quote unquote, people are using this term, stole your traffic. So for that, you want to see like, okay, did your rankings go down? If they didn't, but your traffic went way down and your impressions are still like impressions, rankings, normal, clicks down, that means it's probably AI overviews or some form of like widget that showed up, because that means the same number of people are still searching and you're still showing up where you showed up before. So people are just not clicking on you. that typically means something else is getting clicked. So go search those terms and see if AI overviews are showing up. Then I want you to analyze all of the terms where that's happening and all the terms where it's not happening. And that's really how I just figured out like a base kind of structure to keywords that are, I found like 20 different structures that I could very easily replicate, and also figured out that, again, like there are these in-depth like review, case study, how to do X, best X for Y thing, which is such a good one for business owners. Like that really helped me understand that. Now, if you were hit by an update, which would mean that your rankings also went down, which would also then affect your impressions and clicks, then you need to try and figure out, okay, was this a helpful content update? If it was within like the last year and a half, it likely was. And typically your traffic would need to be reduced by over 50%, usually over 90%. Much more common that this happens to bloggers. And I find like if you sell something on your site and you are like open about that, you're pretty safe. Google likes e-commerce, they like businesses. Blogs that were like, especially like the niche site kind of hacky stuff that was happening for a minute there with some like spammy stuff, they don't like that. So you need to analyze like, okay, was I actually hit? If you were, you're not going to have an immediate change no matter what you do. I've seen so many like, just delete your blog and like publish it under a new name and stuff like that. I'm like, we're not in witness protection here. Like, and Google can find you. So like, it's not going to change anything. What you need to do is, number one, treat your business like it is a business. So maintain your brand name unless you want to pivot your brand. Then you need to audit your content. And then once you've audited your content for users, for real people, you've looked for content gaps, that you weren't just like writing for like the easiest keywords in the world that, again, were all like top of funnel and then nothing's happening. There's no journey for them. Once you've like done a hard analysis, updated some content, put it aside for a minute. Like, honestly, that is going to be the best thing you can do, and find a secondary traffic source. Because right now, especially, we learned during the algorithm leak that Google really pays attention to click data. So on Chrome, this is going to sound like very conspiracy theory. We actually saw it in the data, I promise you. But on Chrome, they're following you around the internet and they see how people are clicking into your website. So they know if someone's coming direct from Google, from your email list, from social media, from whatever. And the more traffic you're getting from a secondary source that's not Google, kind of like a popular girl, Google's like, hey, someone else is paying attention to you. I want to pay attention to you now. So having that extra source, and again, it can be your email list, which is my personal, like, honest favorite. If you don't have the ability to grow an email list yet, I love a Facebook group. YouTube is freaking amazing for this. Like, you can repurpose your content there. Literally anywhere. Instagram is getting indexed now. Threads are getting indexed now. Facebook pages are getting indexed. LinkedIn Pulse is getting indexed. Pick whatever, pick one, and then put some traffic there. Like, put some effort behind that, and then wait. And that is like the best thing you can do. It sucks, I know, to be like, hey, take some time, but like, you're not going to change. Basically, you have something called a classifier on your site, and you're not going to change that immediately. The best way to change it is to fix what you already have, and then really reframe your mindset to be audience first. If there was nothing wrong with your site, Google has admitted like they got some stuff wrong. They still have to wait for the algorithm to update itself. So like, you're not helping yourself working at something that can't change right now. The earliest predictions, Danny Sullivan, who's a Google liaison, the search liaison, has told us is December 2025. But I'll be honest, the interview where he said it, he was like kind of backed into a corner of picking a date. So I suspect we'll start to see some stuff. We're starting to see some recoveries now, but the AI mode shift is going to still affect traffic so much that I think a lot of people are still going to say it's HCU, it's HCU. And I'm like, again, really, like, I'd also suggest auditing your income sources and being like, okay, did my income change? Like, I burned down my own travel blog. I've got a lot of like weird issues. I didn't want to work on it, so I just like burnt it to the ground. And it was making 30,000 a month, like 26 to 32 pretty consistently. It still does 5 to 7,000 a month now. And like, its traffic is down because I bought a bunch of spammy links to like get it hit. But I'm like, for something I'm not emailing, I'm not working on the groups, I'm not doing anything, there hasn't been new content in a year, for it to still be making that money from like the posts that are still converting and still showing up. Like
Mm-hmm.
it just shows that you don't need a bajillion
Yeah.
page views a month, and you need to be more strategic with the ones you are choosing.
Yeah, quality over quantity. Thanks for going so in depth in that answer. That's super helpful.
The whole
And I
time I
feel
was
like
like, Nina, shut up, you're talking too much.
no, 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 it's so good. It's so good. And it's kind of like just a reminder of like we need to differentiate our website traffic sources, differentiate your marketing. I am an SEO queen. And I have to like you have to differentiate your marketing. Like my favorite is YouTube, like hands down, this is my favorite platform, even over I know, over the blog posts on my own site, but like I just really prefer creating YouTube content. But what if the algorithm stops recommending me? How am I going to get people over to my email list, or how am I going to get clients and all of that? And collaborations is the other really, really incredible way that I do that. And like I can do that online, I can do that offline. So like there's so many different ways to do this. And I feel like differentiating income, traffic sources, platforms, and this isn't to say that like you have to be everywhere all of the time. You don't have to. Choose a platform that feels fun, that feels easy for you. That's why if it makes sense for your industry, Pinterest can do really well, is because their search algorithm pings off of Google and then Google pings off of Pinterest. And then they kind of play this game with each other. It doesn't work for all industries. I actually stopped paying for Pinterest after paying for like a Pinterest management team. After like 4 years, I was like, I make no money from Pinterest. What am I doing paying you X amount of money per month? And I can't believe that it took me that long in order to figure out that I wasn't making any money. Okay, nobody come for me for that one. Okay, so I think we said a lot of information. Hopefully this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, we're going to do a recap right now. But if you're watching live, if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in. I'm going to be paying attention to that. If you are watching the replay, still pop in your questions. We get a whole lot of people watching the replay after this goes live. But essentially, I would just like to recap. So if the title is SEO in the Age of AI, what's important in 2025? What's like your top 3?
Number one, humans first, because in the age of AI, it's meant to help you connect with people. So actually connect with people. Number 2, I'm so bad at choosing. Why would you make me go first? Number 2 would probably be trying to like treat each piece of content like it's part of a whole, and then building that topical authority with it. And then number 3 is like, don't put all your eggs in one basket with anything. Because I also, like, in my opinion, like you said with SEO, like it's your marketing channel. It's not your business. Like even for us, where it kind of is our business, SEO is not just Google, which is also, I think, an important thing to say. Yeah, and then my bonus point number 4 is that like AI is meant to help you if you use it to help you. If you use it spammily, stop, please. That's my thing. I don't know. You need to unmute yourself, Mariah.
Hello. God bless. I'm here. Okay, so I was giggling and I didn't realize that I already had comments. We have Jason saying, "What's up? Thanks for the live." We have Lisa. Awesome to get to learn from you both. These are so fun. They've been hidden and I've been a bad host. And then we have Ryan Robinson, 2 of my faves. What's up? Put those eggs in many different baskets. And then he's just like blowing us up here. And then y'all seen the cost of egg recently? Like, yeah, for real, Ryan. Eggs are very expensive and we need them in different baskets. Yeah, I love the overview that you gave. Hold on, we're going to turn this little banner on here. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Nina also has a YouTube channel. I don't know why I'm just saying this now, but I'm going to subscribe to hers too. Okay, yeah, I like the things that you said. I am going to add a little bit here. I would say like the human first. I just want to add on to that. Your perspective. I want to know why you give a shit. Tell me why you give a shit. Please. You hear like how you can kind of feel me, even though I'm being like ridiculous. You can feel like how much I want you to feel this. This is not an act. This is really like how I feel about this. But like you can feel it. I want to feel that you actually care about it, instead of just regurgitating things. So please put your perspective in it. That is so important. Number two, we have to understand keywords better. I am seeing people like trying to show up for keywords that don't make no damn sense. We have to understand the intent behind keywords way more. That is how we focus on conversions, where we're not freaking out about traffic. Instead, we're making more money over here because we understand keywords. Very, very important. And then I feel like this kind of goes with what you said too. I'm just regurgitating what you're saying, basically. But it's like you can't think of your website on like a page by page silo basis. I love what you said. Like these pages, your website does not live in a vacuum. What is your entire website saying about your expertise? And I know some people are like, girl, I can only focus on one page at a time. Think about my website. I will burn it down to the ground. And like, I totally get it. But that's why we do keyword research as a decision-making tool to help you know what to prioritize, to be able to figure out what's the keyword worth targeting for these different pages. Super, super, super important. And if you're going to use AI, don't just press a couple buttons and publish that shit, because we have to remember what the point of creating content is. It's to drive people to take action. What action do you want them to take? Infuse your personality, put the human first. This is the stuff that matters. Like even more so. And it's crazy to me because like, what's important in 2025? I feel like I've been saying that this is important since like 2017. But I feel like the SEO industry, it's outdated. Everybody's like, I still saw somebody, like a friend of a friend of a friend had me look at somebody's website. Somebody's heading one had a keyword in it, and it was the same color as the background so that the bot could see the keyword, but the users on the front end couldn't see the keyword because it blended in. I'm like, guys, that is SEO like 2007, before I even graduated high school. Like that shit doesn't fly anymore. So if you're doing things that feel weird for SEO and you're just like, logically, this doesn't make any sense, it might not make sense, because SEO is modernizing and kind of moving towards human first. SEO is not dead. SEO is not dying. If you think that it is, then you don't understand SEO, because it's literally how we use the entire internet. Amazon, eBay, Etsy, don't care. If you want to show up anywhere, it's SEO.
100%. And I also want to add, like, with that, like, I hate that people do that. I've seen it so many times, though, the like disguising things in weird ways or like hiding stuff. Like, if it wouldn't make sense for your user to see everything that you're doing, stop doing it. Like, you shouldn't be hiding things from your ideal audience. Like that just makes no sense. And then from the AI point as well, like with editing things a bit, like the Supreme Court legally ruled that you do not own the copyright of your content if you have not edited it from an AI, no matter how much you're like putting into the prompt initially. Now they say significantly edit, but then when they were pressed on that, basically what they said is like, if you hit enter 5 times, you've probably done enough. So like it's the base edits. You're not having to like restart from scratch. But number one, you want something that actually sounds like you. And like Mariah said, like you give a shit, like you've actually made something that shows that. So put that initially. But at the end, like do a pass through, please. Like just go over it. Because I think it is important. And the amount of times I've seen people also like, yeah, on their website with 2 different pages that contradict each other, within the same post, it clearly contradicts each other because they probably went through multiple different AIs or used like old ChatGPT that forgets stuff. So I find it very funny when people do that. But like, yeah, I would say you're safe to use AI. Don't be afraid of it. It is what we're moving towards. It's changing every day, just like SEO. SEO is like a video game, and we've got like a whole new iteration. Like it's like that new like gold Pokemon or something that came out. So we've got to adjust to like the new maps.
It's just becoming more logical, though, in my opinion. Like so many people are like, SEO is not worth it because it keeps changing. And I'm like, no, the foundations are forever the same because we are the foundation.
I think it's the quick wins that are changing, which like I fully admit I got caught up in early on in my career as well, because like with blog versus business, like I think bloggers are often seen as people that are like content creators for the sake of creating content. We monetized with ads and like that was it. So you needed that quick win or you made no money. With like a business owner, it's like, we've got a minute. We can like, let's actually do this the right way. And what I found is that like some of the quick wins aren't actually quick wins, like using schema. You need to like appropriately use schema and alt text and things like that. Mariah has videos on basically everything I just said. And if she doesn't, I probably do. So go to one of us. But like, you need to make sure that you're, sorry, I just lost my train of thought mid-sentence. Oh, my point was going to be that you're like actually optimizing for the people, because what was happening, I think, as well, is like, remember when everyone was using like Rank IQ and Surfer SEO to like just like put in random words, because it was like, oh, if I have these words, I'll rank. And it was like,
yeah,
why?
I still have people that will be like, hey, I need help with my website. I need help to put the keywords on the page. And I'm like kind of. I understand what you're saying, but it's so much deeper than that. Like, why this keyword instead of that keyword? What is somebody expecting when they type in that keyword? It's not just like taking a phrase, putting it on the site, and then being like, oh my God, I'm going to show up for this. It's so much deeper than that. And I know as a business owner, it's annoying. You're just like annoyed. You're like, Mariah, you literally, like, both of us told you a bunch of things and you're like, this is kind of annoying. But know that a lot of like what these search engines judge your website on, it's over 200 factors. Annoying, I know, but it's because it's judging a lot of your stuff on user experience, how people are using your website. If your user experience is garbage, the people ain't converting anyways.
It's so true. And like, please, for the love of God, stop prioritizing pretty over functional, because the amount of websites that I see where I'm like, the whole page is a PDF. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing these things?
Yeah.
SEO is, the tech bros make it sound hard. That way they can create this like niche club that no one else gets to be in. And I get that like there are parts of it that are challenging. It is a new way to think of content for sure. But it's just like changing, like it's learning a dialect. It's not learning a whole new language, I promise you. And like, once you get it, again, you're really just connecting with your audience and growing from there. And when you stop focusing on algorithms first, then anytime an algorithm changes, it can't decimate your business or anything, which also it's not going to, because like they need, search is the way everyone uses the internet. Like search happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And as Mariah said, like you don't have to be everywhere. Be in like one or two places that you can be prominent in. Follow your fun to those places. I choose places I like being. And then just like connect with real people and talk about your business, that you're like, hey, I do this amazing thing and it's so freaking cool and I want you to know about it.
Yeah.
Let's tell you about it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We went through so much. Hopefully we answered the question of what's important in 2025. If you guys have been watching this entire live, we love you. Thank you so much. If you guys are watching the replay, thank you for being here. If you have any follow-up questions, we're going to be paying attention to the comments after the live ends. But Nina, will you let everybody know where they can find you, where they can connect with you, what you got going on?
For sure. Come join me at She Knows SEO on YouTube or sheknowsseo.co, where we can hang out, talk about SEO and AI all day. I also have a Facebook group called SEO for Bloggers, where we can come and like, it's basically where I spend all my life answering questions and giving some one-to-one feedback. So yeah, join me in those three places. And I would love to help you out learning a bit more and supporting your journey with Mariah as well with SEO.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not on Nina's email list already, get over there. I'm on her email list. I save all of her emails. She's just like, her perspective. And like, if you have been listening, she goes into like these experiments and like the data behind things. And it's so valuable in order to get this information. And like me also as an SEO person, I don't have time to go into all the things that Nina has time for. She doesn't have time to go into all the things that I have time for. So it's like, it's cool when when professionals in one industry can really come together to like help you be able to figure it out. Because I feel like both of us, we really want to help people take SEO into their own hands. We don't want it to be overwhelming and like suck you dry, essentially. Like we want it to be empowering. We want it to be fun. SEO is a decision-making tool. And then Before we hop off, I just wanted to let you guys know that I do have a live SEO workshop happening April 27th. So at the time that we are live, it is happening next week, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to walk you through how to choose the perfect SEO keyword for the different pages of your website. So the ticket price is pay what you want. I know that this is like a weird way of doing pricing, but basically you can get a ticket for as little as $7. We already have 50 people signed up. That was my goal, to hit 50 people. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I have never had that many people buy tickets to a workshop. I left the link to snag a ticket in the video description box below here. You can also go to mariahmagazine.com. I have it in my announcement bar banner thing. Go grab a ticket, hang out with me. It's going to be super, super beneficial. What keywords you should be focusing on. I'm going to do a live demo of like how to do keyword research. We're going to walk through how to choose them based on the list. Like it's going to be, people have been asking me to go through this process for so long, and I'm finally doing a live workshop to do it. And then, so snag the ticket to the live workshop. Tickets are as little as $7. And then another shout out to our live sponsor, Right Blogger, the AI tool created for bloggers, by bloggers. Go ahead and test it out. Go to rightblogger.com/Mariah. You can test out the tools there before signing up. They have a bunch of free options there. Test it out. See if you like it. I use Right Blogger to help me create actually like the first, well, no, all of the versions of my YouTube video descriptions. I use it for a bunch of other things. Definitely test it out. Make sure that you like and subscribe. This is the way that the YouTube works. Sharon said, thank you both.
Thanks,
You're
Sharon.
so welcome, Sharon. Thanks for being here. Ryan said, tell me why you give a shit is some of the best business advice. Thank you so much. This was really fun. Nina, thank you so much for being here. We're going to have to do it again. I feel like we could talk for 300 years.
Just remind me next time, and I'll try and like make a smoke effect and come out of a genie bottle or something.
Yeah, that would be really fun. That would be really fun. Okay, cool. I'm going to end this live. We will see you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.